Evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have the prayer and the pledge by Councilman Ron Davis.
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Present.
Councilmember Brooke Marcotte. Here. Councilmember Warren White.
Here.
Councilmember Troy Como.
Here.
Councilmember David Merrill.
Here.
Councilmember Ron Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Dan Darrell.
Yeah. Thank you. Do we have any comment cards? None. I always use this time to ask you to put your phones on silent. And we will move on to item 2A.
Acceptance of the minutes, regular meeting of June 17th, 2025, which will be published on July 2nd, 2025.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and I think Councilman David Merrill. Is there any discussion or comments on our meeting of June 17th? Hearing seen none, please vote your machines. Thank you. Item 3A.
Carol Whip to address the council to provide an update on Council on Aging.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a while since I've seen some of y'all, but I
Yes,
see you around town. I saw Mr. David today. Mr. Warren White is on my board. So many of them, Dan Doyle has helped us, all of us. Jeff Simon has helped us when we had to figure out how old our building was. His parents used to have the building. Just want to tell you some updates for the Council on Aging, and of course, I walked away without my notes. Wonderful notes here. The Council on Aging has been here and as a nonprofit since July 18th, 1977. Each parish has a Council on Aging. There are 64 parishes, and all 64 parishes have a Council on Aging. We serve the seniors that are 60 and older. We offer several programs that y'all are familiar with, probably some of them that we might not be realized that we do. But all I can say, the councils on aging are totally underfunded, and so there have to be fundraisers and events throughout the year. We have gotten some raises this year. Some of the things that we are very excited about, House Bill 126 in the legislature did pass. It was put forward by a congressman from Marrero. It did pass, giving each of the councils on aging, especially the smaller ones, $50,000 more each year. The parishes that are larger and have more funding, they got based on population. Our monies received are based on the population of the community with senior citizens. So that's how we receive our funding. That means that it will be signed in August. It means that quarterly we will receive $12,500 more from the Governor's Office of Elderly Affairs. Now, Governor's Office of Elderly Affairs in Baton Rouge provide our state dollars. And from the state dollars, and I think I've added this in, we get $274,662.50. From the federal dollars, which pays for our Title III programs like our home delivered meals, our congregate meals, homemaker, caregiver, that comes from the state. And that funding, from the federal government. That funding is $175,320 to pay for my programs. Now, when you got a program that costs $157,000 to run, that $175 is not enough. My Meals on Wheels program costs me $157,000 to run a year. We deliver, we were contracted for 160 meals a day. That contract went up to 191 meals a day. So I had to let Governor's Office Elderly Affairs know my budget was wrong because they gave us the wrong totals. And she says, "Are you sure you can afford it?" And I said, "How can we not try?" Because I have 302 senior citizens on a wait list for home-delivered meals. So we have hit the ground running. Fiscal year starts today, probably over 191 already, the ones that we're going to be serving. We base it on need. It's not based strictly on the lack of money. We have a comprehensive assessment that decides this person doesn't have anybody in the parish that can help look after him. Might be the richest person in the parish, but they have no family support. We definitely, if you will get more points if you're low income. You will get another point based on your health. We do a health assessment and what their needs are. And so we do not discriminate if somebody can give us money or not. My homes deliver meals. We ask for $2 a day. We do not get it. We will not refuse any senior citizen any of our services through Title B under the Older Americans Act. If they can't afford $1 or $2, they still get a meal. And it's sad to think some of our seniors think that they have to pay for it, so they turn us down when they don't have the money. With my home-delivered meals, we drive, this year we're going to be doing 47,500 meals for the year, home-delivered. We drive about 43,000 miles a year to deliver these meals. I have 7 drivers that will get these meals out throughout the parish. We are now going to 70 cents a mile, so I know it's more like $33,000 a year in mileage for my drivers to deliver these meals, so that's part of the funding. The Council on Aging has an employee who has in Generette who has been delivering meals for 45 years. She must have started very young, and she loves it, and she doesn't want to do anything else. And I want to tell you, that is the one route I would have to have somebody ride with me about twice before I could do it on my own. It goes everywhere. It even goes out to Lydia and out and through the swamps back there somewhere. It is a long route. Now, my driver who does the Koto route, we used to have a meal site in Koto years ago when I started here. I wasn't the director. Our Koto route driver will do anywhere between 55 and 60 miles a day delivering meals to Koto. Wow. And then we have my oldest employee that's been employed 25 years, the same amount of time as me, is 81 years old. And she still works a 5-hour day. So a lot of my drivers and a lot of my people over my meal sites, they are elderly. And I want to tell you, these people are not doing it for the money. They're doing it because of the love of the people. They go out of their way. They will try everything we can to service them. I have a great staff. We have 4 full-time people in the office and a couple of part-time. My outreach workers are stationed in the office, my computer person, my nutrition coordinator. He worked in the Generate Meal site, and we recently promoted him. His mother worked for us for over 30 years. And it is a very heartwarming thing. We have a pantry, and if seniors need food, we have emergency basis pantry. The other day, we had some money left over. We're trying to spend every penny we had to spend for the fiscal year, because yesterday was the end of the fiscal year. And we went and bought some packages of meat to put in our freezer and that type of thing. So when there's a need, we don't give them the, maybe for a weekend's worth or whatever, but we do have a pantry. Our homemaker program goes into the home, does light housekeeping. They go twice a month to, say, 10 clients, and then they'll have the other 2 weeks in the month, they'll have another 10 or 15 clients. I do need a homemaker. I need to have 2 homemakers. Caregiver program is designed to relieve the caregiver of a few hours of service so they can have a break. We go in and take care of the person for a few hours. They can go to the movies, not any movies here, but they can go to the hairdresser, or they can go do their grocery shopping or anything like that. My congregate meal sites, I recently, Monday, closed the Laurelville site That was over a 45-year, possibly 50-year commitment to each other. We had 2 people going. And the pastor at the church says we are welcome back anytime. He would love to see the people come. But I'm telling you, they like the little main cup and Tash Cafe, and they're going to eat their little croissants in the morning and socializing at noon. And they have done a wonderful job, and they're very big supporters of us. You know, they advertise for us and everything. My meal sites, I'm contracted for 60 meals a day between Generette and New Iberia. We are serving more than that. They come to the meal site to eat. Center Street at School Days Apartment, we have a pool table. We have 2 high-end recumbent bikes that are the same ones they have at Iberia Medical Rehab. They have the exact same bikes. They can come exercise. The one piece of equipment that somebody convinced me to buy, they have never touched. They have never touched the air hockey. And it's, oh, this parish loves air hockey. Not our parish, you know. But that's at School Days Apartments. None of the facilities do we pay for. Like when we were at the church, we never paid a penny. When we were at Ward 8, now we're at King Joseph, the School Days Apartments, we pay $12 a year, $1 a month, and they pay the utilities. So that's all we pay to have our facility because we are a nonprofit. And so that certainly saves us money. Some parishes are not that lucky. Some parishes do have to pay, but the goal is from the governor's office of elderly affairs is to have a $0 cost for our programs. We do offer visiting. We do education, nutrition education. The back of my, I don't know if it's here. The back of my menu, this is a week's worth of menu. That has nutrition education there. This is the meal that they are served daily. You see on, today they had red beans and rice and sausage, tossed green salad, mustard greens, cornbread, cranberry juice, and a half a pint of milk. They will always have that half pint of milk. And you see it's 1/3 of the calorie needs and dietary needs of a senior citizen.
Right.
So that provides that. Are there any questions? I'm sure. Now, I want to say that one of the best moves we made with the parish government is we moved from Ward 8. They took us from Ward 8 and put us to King Joseph. We are meeting a community that a lot of them don't have cars to get to the meal site, so they walk to our meal site. And when we had 0 people coming to Generette, we now sometimes have 28, 30 people coming. So that has increased there, and we do have 50-something coming at Center Street. We have a transportation van. I had it cleaned this past weekend. It looks wonderful. Now the air conditioner doesn't work. So we got it ready to go to the shop on Tuesday. It is ours. It was given to us by the Department of Public Safety. The parish government did years ago put down the 15% payment. And once we use the vehicle for a certain amount of years, it becomes ours. So now, though, I mean, y'all, this was like $49,000 when we bought it, 8-passenger wheelchair lift. They are now running like $125,000, $130,000. This might be my only vehicle I get. I don't know. We have to find a very generous donor to put the down payment for us. Are there any questions?
Questions, comments? Yes, sir.
Ms. Carroll, thank you for coming. I've used you a long time ago when I was on the council before, come to my neighborhood watch meeting.
Yeah.
And you surprised all of us because a lot of things that I didn't know that the Council of Aging do, y'all do a lot.
Yeah.
Taking people that's homeless, that's coming into town for y'all do, man, you brought a lot of stuff to our attention. So
Yeah.
I would love to get you again one day soon. I'll give you a call.
Okay.
But I appreciate what y'all do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I want to say you're doing a great job, and
Yeah.
I'm there seeing, so. Great.
Well, I'm a senior citizen. I'm 71. I don't mind telling people.
I'm a senior
But,
citizen too.
Yeah, it's, for a while there, I was getting concerned about my health. And then I'm saying, I'm not giving up yet. I've got a lot more to do. And I'm rolling again. So that's why
ma'am.
you're seeing me again.
Good. Yes, sir.
Ms. Whip, I'd like to commend you for what you're doing in the community, especially helping out our elderly. Because as you said, so many of them have no one
Right.
to reach out to. So when those meals hit the door, I'm sure you bring along some happy families.
Yeah.
And some folks that can help, they just can't because some of it needs themselves. So I appreciate you and keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. But, it's our pleasure. We know what it does for the community, and that's what keeps all of my staff going.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carroll, what's the easiest way for someone that didn't know about your services to get involved to be able to get your services? Is it through the email or through the phone
We
number?
have a Facebook. I'm not very savvy on tech anymore, but I'm learning. But we have, things that we're doing, we have on Facebook. Of course, we're going to be having a Sugar Cane Festival dance in September. We did pick a king and queen. We had a dance, Mardi Gras dance, for just 70544. The people in Generette. It didn't matter if they were Sorrel, St. Mary, that's okay, you can come to this dance. And we selected a king and queen there. We're going to try to get them in the Sugar Cane Festival king and queen, because we have always done that in the past. So, does anybody have a convertible car? I certainly could use one.
I got one.
You got one? You going to drive it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I drive it.
Okay. And this is we didn't make them pay a penny for that dance. We had the crown and everything, and they got we have a banner for them, it's king and
I've
queen.
had a few of them ask me before in New Iberia and they called me and asked me to use to bring them their kid or somebody in the parade or whatever. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We drove one of Perry Segura's antique cars one time. It kept wanting to conk on us. It didn't like the summer. It wanted to go smooth. It did not want to. Somebody said, "Well, you passed by so fast." I said, "Because it kept conking out of us." It was one of those Mercury Cougars, a '73 Mercury Cougar convertible.
Old school.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll, so much for everything you do for the community. Warren, you as well, and anyone else that volunteers or works for the organization. That's amazing. I know that we do have so many senior citizens that have family that just don't want to be bothered, or maybe they just moved away and think that their family member's okay. We appreciate y'all picking up the slack for those families
Thank
that
you.
aren't around. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Everybody? Yes, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for what you do. Madam Clerk, item 3B.
Panat Zanaman to address the council to discuss low-income housing.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I think we have a PowerPoint presentation to queue up for this one. Just a few slides, we won't take too long. I am a resident of Hopkins Street and a business owner there, and I wear many hats. But tonight, the hat that I'm wearing is advocating for more affordable, good quality housing here in the city of New Iberia. And this process for me started a couple years ago, about a year and a half ago, and I've been working with fellow housing advocates, Brittany Manuel and Corinne Stossen, who are back here supporting us tonight. And we've been coming to City Hall, talking to different people about how we can find some way to bring more investments and development in terms of residential properties here in the city. And our big focus has been in the West End. That's my neighborhood and the neighborhood that I hold very dear to me. I've been living back there for about 15 years now and decided to start a business, and I've been doing lots of great projects. And one of those projects is trying to just bring in more economic development and commercial development. And it's so exciting to see some of the work that's being done by the administration and past council members in this council to repair the street drainage projects and integrating us into the master plan with parks and street signage and other improvements throughout the community. But a big chunk of that, I think, is going to be residential development. And so about a year ago, we reached out, the stars aligned, and Professor Corey Saft, who I'm standing here and we'll talk about the project more in detail, came on board and is bringing his nonprofit with all of its opportunities to our efforts. He started the Louisiana Housing Lab, and he's a professor at the University of Louisiana Lafayette School of Architecture. So I'm going to turn it over to him to talk about this wonderful residential development project that we hope that you would support.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate your time. We can go to the next slide. So I'm the executive director of the Louisiana Housing Lab. We started in 2017 and we work throughout Acadiana. We have projects in Opelousas and Lafayette, and now we're starting to work down here in New Iberia. We're a CHODO, which is a community housing development organization. We're one of only 20 in the state of Louisiana. And that's a designation by Louisiana Housing Corporation in Baton Rouge, who manages all the HUD funding that comes into the state for affordable housing. And so that's the kind of primary thing. As a CHODO, we're not like other affordable housing developers that do 100-unit projects or 150-unit projects. We typically work in about 4 units at a time. We work closely inside the community, and we got hooked up with some great people here. And that's why we're down here, really, is because the work that was already being done inside the West End. Yeah. So some of you will remember about a year ago, we had a big meeting that, you want to actually? Yeah.
So about a year ago, it was a different council, a lot of new faces. I think the only people that were there that is up here right now is Freddie and Warren. And we got the Louisiana Housing Corporation to come join us. And I mean, we were giving basically the spiel, right, or the ask from this from the state organization to invest in the West End and into this project. And they did it, basically. And so now we're at a very crucial stage where we're looking for applicants. And so we need to get those applicants pretty soon. So we're asking for your support in making sure, helping us find people in the community that may want to take advantage of this opportunity. So Corey, would you explain that a little bit more?
So about a year ago, we got the support. We brought Louisiana Housing Corporation here, and we gave them a pretty tremendous presentation. I made an application. It's like 250-page application. And then we submitted for environmental review. It took about 8 months to go through, and about 3 months ago, we found out the site was clear and that they gave us the thumbs up for this project, and it's for 4 units. We can go to the next slide. So this is the project. It's right at the intersection of Field Street and Korean, just south of Hopkins Street, not far from the Fresh Market. And this is a 4-unit project that would be largely funded by Louisiana Housing Corporation. It's about $1 million project. A good portion of that goes to the housing, but then there are architects and other people inside there that kind of round it out. There are 4 3-bedroom, 2 baths. They'll be built to very high standards. So they'll have fortified roofs, and if we can make it work, it'll be fortified gold, which will allow the tenant, the people who own it, to have reduced insurance rates going in there, and they'll be very secure and steady. So we have gotten the okay for this. We are now trying to meet all the requirements to kind of make this happen. The money is sitting there. And we are assuming it's going forward, but we are kind of trying to get to closing. And there's a couple parts to that. We can go to the next slide. So one thing we need to do is find homeowners. And that's a particularly challenging thing to find, because you can't make too much money, and you can see the maximum limits up there. So if you're a family of 5, 2 parents and 3 kids, you have to make $53,700 or less gross income for the whole family. And so it's a reasonable amount. It's not a lot, but the trouble is they can't make more than that, and they can't make less than a bank will still give them a mortgage. So it's like a Venn diagram of not making too much and making too little, and it's really challenging. When you find the right person, though, it's perfect. And oftentimes it's not the only case. It's a single parent with a couple kids, and it allows them to get in an affordable rate. And Louisiana Housing Corporation states affordable as 30% of their income. So when these things sell, they will take into the buyer's condition, and the mortgage will be set at 30% of their gross income. And that's done by basically offering a soft second on there that gets forgiven when they live there for 15 years. Mm-hmm. So it's sold at a comparable rate, so it doesn't mess up the comparables in terms of real estate, but that soft second allows them to have a lower monthly payment. So one ask for you and for everybody and for the whole city is to help us find people, any organizations that are kind of tied into that. We have been looking, we have a social media presence, and it's a real kind of challenging situation, so. We can go to the next slide. The other thing we're asking for help with is we have to match 10 to 15% of the money they give us, and it's about $1 million. So that's about $100,000 to $150,000. Our nonprofit is in the process of selling a house in Lafayette that's an affordable house to a homeowner, and we're going to be able to transfer almost $100,000 of that from Lafayette down into the community here, and that will make up the bulk of the match. So it's almost covered, and we're trying to get donations from people in the community, from for building supplies. What we're asking from the city of Lafayette is to waive the fees for building permits and mechanical and electrical and plumbing and final inspections, and so that will act as a part of the match for us and kind of add to the amount that we have and kind of put us up over there.
That's not a hard one.
What's that?
I said, that's not a hard one.
Oh, good. I think we like that.
Talk
Yeah.
about it, but that seems reasonable.
It's very reasonable.
The second one
We can do
is, it's not a direct ask.
Panad, that's enough.
The second one up there is streetscape improvements, and honestly, that's not a direct ask. We know you guys are doing that throughout the city,
Right, right.
and we want to get on the map that we're going to invest a lot of money here. And the beautiful thing about this is that if we are successful with this, we can make another application, and we can keep doing this. And our goal with the community of people we have here is to keep working in that area. And 4 at a time, you do 2 or 3 projects, and you got 12 new houses. That's not an insignificant thing, and you want to actually remind everybody of all the projects that are going on?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, very exciting things happening just within that 3 or 4 block radius of a Field Street and Corrine intersection. They had the Dollar General that just opened there, the street improvements just a block away, the train station, you can just hop on a train to take a weekend trip somewhere just 2 blocks away. The development on Dale Street and Hopkins Street as well. New commercial development happening there. So there's a lot of great activity happening in that area, but there is this kind of stigma around the neighborhood that we're trying to get over. A lot of people are really excited at the fact of whenever we've been going around to the community and handing out our flyers and talking about the project, excited about that, the opportunity for this affordable housing, but there's some hesitancy. So the more that we can show how this neighborhood is being invested in and is being that would provide a safe neighborhood for future residents and residents currently, the better, right? And to show you guys' support in any way possible is going to be great. So you covered it great, but so I just want to say, yes, we'll keep on having discussions about how we can get you guys on board with providing a match, and please. Our contact information is on the flyers or the cards that we passed out. So if you know of anyone that would like to potentially purchase one of these homes, please send them our way, and we'll leave a few of the flyers here on the at the mayor's office front desk too.
Thank you. One more slide, but go ahead. Yes.
Got a question.
Yeah, sure.
These houses that y'all doing, are y'all would possibly look at buying some of the houses that's dilapidated properties in some of these areas?
We would certainly be interested. We kind of fall in line with the programs that Louisiana Housing Corporation set up. And
Okay.
so like when they offer something, that's it. And so they're very much, they used to be equally interested in rental properties and for sale. They're moving away from rental properties, and so for sale is what they want to. They do have some programs like that, and I mean, we're certainly could be a go-between.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would like to see. We got a lot of dilapidated properties in western area and everything like that too. And some of these houses y'all doing, which I talked to somebody else before also, that would be a great thing for that part of the community.
Yeah.
We using Civic Source and also as well, if y'all can have a program that can buy some of these houses and build on some of these properties, that some of these houses on, that would make a big difference.
Yeah. And a good way to actually do that is with adjudicated properties also, so we can get those, the adjudicated properties are a match, and then they can
Right,
use that.
right.
We have over 500 adjudicated properties. We are putting it on a map now. We just got them in GIS. I would even be interested to donate a piece of adjudicated property.
That'd be amazing.
We have issues that
That's what I'm
sometimes it's city and parish. I can't do anything at this point with the parish taxes, but with the city taxes, to see that property develop, to see that become something.
Awesome.
And we have some that are clustered to where, you get that massing, that group, energy going, that's your critical mass that you might end up doing 4 or 5 houses. But we've got them just about finished on a map, thanks to my clerk. And so we just bought a new GIS system. We're really trying to ramp that up. So I would, as we've talked before, but I would be, interested in visiting because I do think that there is some opportunity there.
That'd be great. And
You
you
know.
can do what they call scattered sites, like if you had 4 different
Right.
single-family lots, you could do that as a package.
And they are, many of them are so, close to each other, but we have a good selection, and we would love to see, something happen with that. We are looking at other avenues of getting rid of them, selling them, moving them along, than Civic Source. We do have some other opportunities we're kind of fleshing out now.
Yeah.
But would love to talk to you all. I just want to
Yeah.
say that, with, we have the Doria property that the city has, and we have $1 million match sitting there. We're looking for funding to develop that and looking for some partners now. Our little one block at a time program that is redoing some housing in our community is taking off. We've got quite a few roofs done. We'll move on to the next phase, fairly soon. I think all the shingle roofs are finished, and now we're doing metal roofs. So that is, progressing. So I think the combination of what y'all are doing, of the private investment
Right.
that's happening here, of these things that, my forward-thinking council is helping me put together, I think, we got something going, so
great.
we will help.
Put us on the list for anything near that intersection.
Okay.
The more we can
I
like just
understand. Yeah, the
fill
more
that
you
in.
mass it and the more momentum you get, then
Yeah.
the more you get,
Yeah. And we'll say the next application, they haven't announced it, but it's probably in August. That's what we did
Okay.
last year. So
Okay.
even while this project is going on, I can make the application
Okay.
going forward, because it takes about a year to get that feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, Councilman Merrill, that when we do this, we are able to take, not a lot, but some of the proceeds from that. Most of it has to be turned into new affordable housing, but use it for the neighbors. Fix a roof, paint a house. So not only the 4 we do, but give some improvements.
That's what we feel we're doing with one block at a time.
Yeah.
You get some
That's
people to
giving them-
renovate, and it just spills over,
And that's giving them a good feedback that we're trying to bring back that part of the community, and that's gonna just help them to feel good about staying in some of those areas with some of those new projects,
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yep. I just want
Councilman
to thank
White.
y'all for coming, in the western area and uplift the neighborhood and do the development there with the new homes, and I'm excited about it, and I think everybody is, So thank y'all.
All you do. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
What's the projected timetable of starting?
So the next step is to get to closing, which ideally we have some prospective buyers lined up, and then maybe about a month. So sometime this summer, towards the end of the summer, we hope to start, and we're going to build all 4 at the same time. So hopefully within 6 months after
So
that.
you're not gonna build them as a prospect home, you gotta have a buyer before you start construction.
You don't have to have a buyer, but there's a dance back and forth with Losing Housing Corporation. Like, when you have buyers, everything goes easy. When you don't, they are skeptical, and so you just got to keep making the case.
Yeah, I just wanted to circle back to not forget that our number one priority is getting people who can apply for this who are qualified. And so that we all hope that the council can reach out to your constituents with this and pass these around.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Everybody good? Thank you all very much.
All right. Thank you
Thank
very
y'all.
much. Appreciate your time.
Madam Clerk, 4A.
Special ordinance number 2024-2025-17, an ordinance amending the budget to reflect additional funds received from LWCC.
I need a motion to open this public hearing.
Second.
Councilman Dan Dahl.
Second.
And the second, Councilman Warren White. Is there anyone here to discuss this item? Hearing, seeing none. I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. And now I'm looking for the main motion.
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 Second.
Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte, and I think Councilman Ron Davis might have got that one. Okay, is there any discussion on the main motion? good? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, 5A.
Resolution number 2568, a resolution appointing Wyatt Collins to the Fire and Police Civil Service Board for a 3-year term.
And just to tell you, he's here, he's sitting in the back. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion.
Councilman Dan Dahl,
Second.
Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. She beat you on that one. Is there any discussion? Wyatt serves now and does an excellent job. Any comments or questions for him?
Thank you.
Thank you.
It seems like Mr. Collins has been on the board forever, since I've been here, on a different board.
Yeah, well, he served in a lot of different
Yeah,
capacities.
Yeah,
Yep,
appreciate
yep.
that time.
He's one of those board member kind of guys.
Thank you so much.
Is everybody good?
Yeah.
Then please vote your machines. Thank you, sir. Thanks for all you do.
No problem.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna bump the next one, 5B. Doug's a working man, and he is caught out on a project that he's still on, so we're gonna move him to the 15th.
Okay.
That's okay with everybody. He couldn't be here, and I know that's, one of our requirements.
Right.
So I guess I need a motion to defer.
Move. Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Troy Como, a second. Who was the second? Councilman David Merrill?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So, any questions or comments on it? Then please vote your machines to defer to the next meeting. Thank you very much. 5C.
Resolution number 2570, a resolution approving change order number 2 for the American Rescue Plan Act Community Centers and Bank Avenue Restroom Upgrades Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
I need a motion.
So move.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Ron Davis. Oh, David.
Good evening.
Hey there.
So, this is a change order that the city, and the contractor and I have been looking at for a while now. We finally have final numbers on the project. As y'all are aware, there are some sewer issues with the MLK Center and the sewer gates. This will help to resolve these sewer issues. I'm gonna explain sort of the process that's being proposed. It's a sewer pipe lining system.
Right.
So it's a very, I think the best way to explain it, it's kind of like when you have a stent in your arteries and you have to put a little tube in because of the clog and blockage. Very similar to that process. So basically, they will remove a toilet, insert a descaling device that will knock off all the crud and build up in these cast iron sewer lines. Then they will go out with a jet propulsion and wash it out and flush out all this material, getting back to the raw steel of the cast iron piping. And then finally, they insert a polymer PVC type material with an adhesion on it and inflate it to fit the form of the pipe. So at the end of the day, you essentially have a PVC pipe inside the cast iron pipe. So there's no way you're gonna have any type of blockage or scaling or anything that could catch paper products. And that's the culprit of what's happening with the scaling on the cast iron piping. There are some areas, they scoped both facilities on the site and in the building. There is some areas that there's some bellying going on, so there's some depression and low spots in the sewer line, so that's causing basically things not to flow, and that's going to get addressed as well. Fortunately, those are on the outside of the building, so they're easy to change out with conventional PVC plumbing methods. There is terracotta piping also under the Sierra Gates building. The terracotta piping is fine as far as there's no buildup or anything like that, because terracotta is similar to PVC, it's very smooth. The process does mostly involve the method I just described. However, there may be some situations where they'll actually need to tunnel under the building. So there will be a crew of people that will tunnel under a small section to access a sewer line, to be able to replace it or to be able to get the discharge out. It's a process that this company has made their name for. There are not many companies, if maybe the only company in Louisiana that does this, and they're very specialized, and our contractor has used them before, and they know and they're experienced with their work. So y'all have any questions?
I got a question.
Sir,
I was gonna ask you, what kind of life extra you'll get? I know within 15 years ago, we did that to some areas in my district, by Dotson, and I went in there with the same procedure you just said about going through the pipe and all that. And it's been at least 15 years. To my knowledge, we didn't replace none of those pipes. They probably using the same liner.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a life of that liner?
Yeah, with these polymer and PVC products, PVC started becoming available like mid-'80s, and a lot of that same PVC is still holding up. So when you're encapsulating and there's nothing that can damage it or anything like that, there's no roots that could get to it. It just kind of stays in that same quality.
Do you know, and this is probably more of the plumbing engineer, about the clean outs that they put, I'm talking about community center, because they have two clean outs that when we have problems, the mayor brings the truck, and one's right in front of the front door, and one was on the
on
side.
the side.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were going to improve that, because it looked like it's in bad shape.
Yeah.
And it's open. I just didn't know if that was involved in this project.
We can make sure that when they look at it, and some of the cleanouts they have to still go and find.
Yeah.
Because they've been
Yeah.
buried or just the yard debris gets over them. But we'll make sure that they address those
So
type of issues.
we were talking about the bathrooms towards the front or by the stage?
So there's two groups at Sear Gates. There's we call it the front half of the building. So there's the lobby restrooms and the teen side
Right.
restrooms. Those all run pretty much long way or crossways with the front of the building. The terracotta line comes from the pool and enters into the main doors right in front of the check-in window.
Right.
And goes straight to the back toward the stage. So you have a line, those restrooms all tee into that line. And then you have the stage restrooms. Those actually go out into the yard, the service yard area on the back of the building, and then connect into that terracotta line.
So which ones we lining?
We're lining the group that's with the front restrooms
Okay.
and the group of the back restrooms.
Oh, okay, both.
But not the terracotta line.
Not the
that
main
runs.
line.
Yeah,
Right.
only not the terracotta.
Okay. But I just, because we had so much history over the years, because I represented that district, so, and we always had an issue
Yes.
Right.
with somewhere on every event, and sometime we would bring the Paulettes to be there, and then the
Yeah.
mayor lately been using the vac truck to make sure, because it's been an issue for years. We just
Right.
never addressed it, or was able to address it,
First
Right.
time we could.
but good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank you for your explanation. It actually made it, very easy to visualize. It was
Not a
kind of
problem.
gross, but,
I have a-
it was thorough.
I don't know if Laney, did you have
He
that
does
video?
stints on the weekend.
I'm not even referring to this stint
Laney's gonna
situation.
find a video, actually, it explains the whole thing.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
I put him through a test
Yeah.
run this afternoon.
Any other questions?
Dave,
Yes, sir. Councilman Ron.
again, thanks for that explanation. So when you ream it out at descale or whatever, does it change the ID of that pipe by
So
much?
the ID right now is like this, and we're gonna make
Okay.
that ID bigger to
More
the
truer.
original
Okay.
size. Yeah, it's a small chain. That's probably 3 or 4 chains that's on a rotation device.
Spins.
It just spins really hard, and it just goes through there and knocks it all, and without damaging the pipe. And it's enough to just break up any of the buildup. And then all that material gets flushed out with a jet propulsion, and then they have to, that's the tricky part is you start at one end, but you got to be able to get the content out from the other end. So that's where some of the tunneling is happening. They do have to cut into the concrete into one of the restrooms at the Sear Gates building, so they will be actually cutting into the floor.
Get it out.
Fortunately, that's one of the bathrooms we're working on, and we already have the concrete exposed, and we're going to put tile right over it, so we don't have to worry about terrazza or wood flooring from the basketball court or anything like that.
So in essence, too, instead of having joints, you have more of a continuous run of pipe?
Correct.
Once it's spread
This
in?
is like a long tube that they can unroll, and then they insert and then inflate. So she's got a quick video on, it's a 3-minute video.
You good?
Just kind of
I want to
shows
see
you what they do from a visual standpoint.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
One thing about, like you say, the tunneling and everything too, if they have to look at, when they're doing that, they investigating to see if they have to do a little bit more, would that add anything more to the budget of what we have, or?
So the tunneling was actually an if worst case we need to tunnel. So
Okay.
we may not need to tunnel.
All right.
In which case we'll get a little bit of credit on some of this
Right,
stuff.
and I'm just asking because if we would have to come back again.
Yeah,
And,
well, they scoped
extend the
it.
budget again
They
or something.
scoped all the lines that they can scope
Okay.
in that building, mapped out where they think everything runs.
Okay,
And they have been doing this for a while. They had a plan of action on how to tackle it, and that's why they were like, we need to cut here. We need to, it's very surgical, and they
Right.
didn't want to make a big mess. They do it all the time in existing buildings like this one.
Okay.
So they understood that importance.
all right. Just wondering, I just want to make sure that everything works and we can maybe afford
Yeah.
to do a little bit more if we had to and everything too.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm hoping that everything is covered. This is stuff that's under the slab. You never know what you're gonna find, but
Correct.
we have some cushion in here, and that I'm hoping that will help to take care of some. of it.
Okay.
Dave, you mentioned something about bellying,
Yes.
okay? What was it you said you were gonna do with that?
So outside of the MLK Center, from the front of the building to the back of the building, there's a sidewalk along the right side of the building that leads to the baseball fields from the parking lot. Right in between that sidewalk and the building, there's a PVC pipe sewer line that runs to Field Street. That pipe has some bellying. There was probably some settlement that happened. There's some excavation or repair work, and that caused that pipe to sag some. And so basically, from the back corner of the MLK building all the way to the front sidewalks of the building near Field Street, we're gonna change that whole PVC pipe out. And it'll be one, consistent slope.
You gonna bore that or you gonna dig?
No, they're gonna dig that,
They're gonna
from the surface and go down.
Good to hear it's not under the building.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
No, that MLK was a lot simpler. Most of the bathrooms sort of quickly exited out of the building and met up with that sewer line right on the side of the building. So
Thank you.
this is the video.
You can think of the pipes in your home like the blood vessels in your body. Both carry fluids to where they are needed, and both remove waste from the system. Aging blood vessels can become more brittle, constricted, and even blocked. When this happens, a surgical procedure called angioplasty can open up the constricted area by inserting a small balloon device that first expands the constricted area, then leaves behind a permanent stent that keeps the vessel open. Cast iron pipes age too due to a buildup of corrosion that restricts the flow. This corrosion can collect debris, cause cracks to develop, or loose sections of pipe entirely, all of which create blockages that can endanger the concrete slab your house relies on for stability. When this happens, similar to angioplasty, we can restore full flow through a cleaning and lining process for either a section of pipe or the entire pipe. Utilizing existing access points like a toilet flange, sink drain, roof vent, or a clean out in the yard, in most cases no digging is required, which means no restoration is needed. Here's how it's done. After identifying the location of the blockage, the pipe is cleaned by using a high-speed flex shaft machine. These machines are specifically designed to descale cast iron with a multitude of cleaning heads, restoring the pipe to its original diameter. Once cleaned of blockages and debris, the pipe is ready to be lined. An IPT liner is cut to suit the specific length of the damaged pipe section or the whole pipe. An inflation tube is then pulled into the liner segment. The folded liner is then pulled into place through access points like a vent on the roof and clean out in the yard. Once in place, the bladder is filled with pressurized air, inflating the liner, like a stent, so it adheres to the interior of the pipe. Once the liner is fully cured and hardened, the bladder is deflated and removed, leaving a fully rehabilitated pipe. Smaller horizontal or vertical branch lines throughout the house can also be repaired with the same pull-in-place method, pulled through the same clean-out or other access points. Even the pipe connections can be lined. Branch lines from the roof vent, sinks, or other sources that have been lined over can be reopened using a special flex shaft cutter tool. The newly lined pipe keeps future corrosion from impeding the flow, renewing the life of the pipe. This process can repair any sized pipe, from small 1.5-inch laundry lines to large horizontal main lines. IPT technology can renew all your home's pipes, including vertical systems, restoring your home's circulatory system back to full health in the most painless and least intrusive way possible. It's angioplasty for your home.
That's pretty good. That's some good stuff. I like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
everybody good?
Bet that's expensive, huh?
It is. I did want to mention.
You're paying for it, sir.
All that work.
The value was listed on the change order. We had change order number 1 that we did back in December, right at the beginning, well, right before the end of the year. And we're using that value to apply to this. So that's why you'll notice the change order value is actually less than what they quoted us. So
David, what do you think a relative completion date looks like?
right now, they're about to open up the first phase of restrooms that we did, and then we'll start the second phase of restrooms. So I'm thinking probably October, November. This work, they only ask for 14 days per building to do it, so it's probably a quick installation process. But then they have to go in and, continue the work on the other facilities. So the first process of doing the bathrooms, I think they were kind of working out some kinks. We had another contractor on site. We had to kind of work with the rec centers, programming and things like that, because some of the paints that they were using as strippers were pretty intense. So I think we kind of smoothed some of that out. So hopefully the next phase will go a bit quicker.
One
Yes, sir.
question, I asked about the warranty. Do they have one?
I'd have to look into that for you.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a workman's warranty for a year.
Yeah, but I was just wondering about the,
Beyond that, yeah,
not the
I'll
lane, I'm
check
talking
that
about
for you.
the
Material.
material itself.
I understand. I'll look into that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Questions, comments?
See, y'all doing a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, if anyone's curious, I know MLK, that's kind of an example of the bathrooms in their finished state, with tiles down, wall tiles are up, they're starting to put the new fixtures in.
Right.
And the accessories and things like that, so you can see how it's dressed up.
So you said October probably, you said October probably, you said? For
Yeah,
MLK?
for total,
Okay.
but the first phase, which is the back bathrooms at MLK, those will be open probably in a few weeks.
We got to rent it out for a ball in December.
Yeah,
You'll be in good shape.
the only restrooms that may, and I don't even think they will be the 2 in the front.
Right, right.
But the big ones in the back, they'll be open up in a few weeks.
Cool.
And these were the last things that we needed to do at both. We have one other thing to talk about, is the sprinkler system, but these are the last things of renovations that we needed to, we've done all the electrical panels, we've done the roofs, we've painted, we've done canopies, we've done,
AC?
all air conditioning units, now we're doing the bathrooms, and then this, and
That's
remember,
good.
this was like $215,000 just
Right,
for
right.
this one thing. But we had allocated the ARPA money, remember at the end of the year, last year, we scrimped and said we gotta get enough, this is our shot to do this, so this finally gives us, the community centers fully renovated where they need to be, because so many people use them. I mean, they're such a big part of our community. Anybody else? Got anything?
That should be a lot of longevity for everything y'all doing. That should be a long time.
So please vote your machines. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Clerk,
David.
5B, D, I'm sorry, D.
Resolution number 2571, a resolution approving certificate of substantial completion for the Sear Gate Sprinkler System project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Dan Dahl had his hand on that. David?
So we're asking tonight for approval of the certificate of substantial completion for the Sear Gate Sprinkler System project. The contractor has finished their obligations of all the work, and including the punch list. They've completed everything. We did an inspection last week with the state fire marshal. They went through the building, they looked, they tested all the alarms, they tested the water flow, and everything that's associated with the sprinkler system, as well as the fire alarm, voice evac, and strobes as well that were upgraded too. So at this point, this project is pretty much 100% finished, and we're just asking for y'all to vote on that so the mayor can authorize it.
Dave, you did say you're gonna do an official capacity on it in
Yes,
the building?
we are engaging with the fire marshal right now to do an official capacity review with the new level of, with the sprinkler system allowing increased occupancy. So they're gonna review it based on the codes that were at the time of the building. Because you can't really apply new codes completely to this building, but it's grandfathered in, they look at the older codes. So yeah, we're gonna get a number, that's the goal. What is the max that we can fit in this building?
Questions, comments? And please vote your machines. This has been a long time coming. This is something I wanted to do when I got here because that building, we had to do fire watch. We use it as a shelter. We are really the only shelter for the parish when a hurricane comes. And so we've had been at a disadvantage not having that sprinkler system. Spent a lot of money with firemen and around the clock watch. I mean, that's where the Red Cross comes, and for now, that's where we come.
Well, I'm updating my emergency plan.
Yes, yes. But anyway, so finally, that's something that's been a long time coming. Thank y'all for that. Moving on to 5E.
Resolution number 2572, a resolution accepting the professional fee proposal submitted by Paul J. Allen for the City Park Splash Pad Improvements Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Councilman David Merrill and Councilman Warren White. Thank y'all. This is a project that we carried over from last year, and we wanted to wait this year because we are also building the skate park, and while they're not related, they're right next door. We wanted to get the skate park project to a point that we felt we weren't gonna have any big change orders. We were gonna be in the budget, just to be responsible. And at that point, now that we realize that it's going along well, we are gonna hit the go button on this one, and this is to upgrade a couple of features. We lost one feature, and they really don't have that much there. This is the splash pad that the city has by Sear Gates, right by the skate park. So this is a small amount of money compared to what we spend building a new one. The new ones are very expensive, but this upgrades that little water park. Yes, sir.
Talking about the skate, how that's coming? It looks like they're breaking a lot of concrete. I know it's not the splash pad, but the skate
So,
stuff in the pool.
yeah, they did have to demolish some concrete. That was part of the plan to get the elevations right for the features, for drainage, for some of the stormwater lines that they had to run. So that's why you see some rubble that's been
So what
removed.
timeline on the skate park? I know it's not this, but a couple people asked me.
I'd probably say 2 to 3 months realistically. We
Almost after
just gave them some tasks to look at for some extra parking and sidewalks too. So,
Okay, so
Yeah.
not this summer, okay.
yeah, probably not this summer.
Okay.
Maybe closer to when the school starts.
Yeah.
Stay
In
on
the
the
fall.
agenda item, bro.
Well, I'm sorry, it's right next to each other, like you said.
You're right, you're right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate you calling him out.
Okay, thank you, sir.
A non-agenda item.
That's right. He mentioned it.
I did. Any other questions or comments on the splash pad?
Do you know what kind of feature you're trying to add, or is it kind of
A
up in
couple
the
of them
air?
kind of similar to what we put in the West End.
Oh,
West
okay.
End got some kind of really
one's really
big,
nice.
nice ones.
Right.
We're not gonna be able to do that much. Remember, that was $375,000. This is $75,000.
Yeah, okay.
But at least a couple of features there, because it's really, after the last one broke, it's really looking kind of bare.
Yeah, I went to look at the skate park yesterday, and then I saw the splash pad too, because they're right there, and I was like, "Ooh, it looks a little sad,
A little
so.
bare, yeah.
But
We
I
thought the
didn't
same
know
thing.
that this was gonna be on the agenda, so
And
I'm
we wanted
glad.
to do it before, because summer, but
Yeah.
at the same time, the skate park took longer to start, and I really wanted a safety valve because I wasn't positive, our idea of taking the swimming pool and making a skate park was not gonna have any change order
It's good to be reserved like that, that's
Well.
good.
for a little while.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Everybody good? Then please vote your machines. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right, this one's gonna be a change. I just wanna get it out the way from the beginning. We have a resolution to reject, and we're gonna need a motion to make it a resolution to award.
Motion.
Second.
Well, hang on, we let her read it. I just like to get that out of the way.
I ain't gonna read it, I'm sorry.
I read it.
I read it too.
Can she just read the new one?
Sure.
Okay, let's read the, and then we'll make a motion to amend it to that.
Yeah, she can give it to me.
She didn't give it to you.
You need to,
Oh, that's one of these.
you need to read the one publicly,
Really?
because that's how you ready to,
Wait, what are you saying?
said you gotta read the one on the agenda, because that's how you advertise it to the press,
Okay,
and then amend it.
you're right, you're right. That's fine.
Resolution number 2573, a resolution rejecting bids for the Pollard Street Sewer Replacement Project.
Okay, they made it, thanks.
Motion.
What's
And
that?
then a motion to amend.
Motion.
To amend.
Yeah. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Councilman David Merrill, Councilman Ron Davis, thank you very much. Any discussion on this motion to amend?
No, need to make, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
the motion. Make
What's
a
that? That was the
motion to
main
amend.
motion. Now I need a motion to amend.
So, make a motion,
Second.
making a motion to accept the bids for Powder Street Sewer Replacement Plan.
Thank you. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem
Project.
Ricky Gonsalas,
Yeah.
project.
And I'll second that.
Councilman Dan Dahl.
You want me to read the long one?
Yes, now you can read the long one.
A resolution awarding contract to Triumph Construction LLC for the Pollard Street Sewer Replacement Project, and further authorizing the execution of change order number 1 related to this project, and finally authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Okay, now I'll tell you the story. We, this is a project that's a long time coming because we have to fix Pollard Street before we put the new street in. This was in the last road program, but we kicked it out because we didn't have the money to do the sewer. We bid this months ago, and we bid it in a way that we were going to line the pipes, okay? We had a budget of about $750,000, and the budget came in, be some round figures, let's say it came in at $950, okay? So we rejected the bids. Our engineers at the time told us that, well, then we'll just jackhammer and break it the old way, and it probably will be cheaper. Well, they came in, if you remember, at 1.2 million, okay? So that backfired. We got with our road engineer, and we realized that we could take the money out of the road. He had money in his road program as well, because we knew that once Pollard Street had to be resurfaced, there was going to be some additional work to do. So we went back and forth. We got with the sewer engineers. We got them to get the contractor to take out the money he had for his road stuff. And then we got with our road contract engineer and said, okay, and our contractor, and said, how much money can we do it for? So when we did that, now we're $25,000 cheaper than the first bid. Okay, so it's not a lot of savings. We still have to come up with a little more money. Got with finance, figured where we had a little extra money in sewer that we could from some savings on some other projects. So kind of worked it backwards, if you will. So we reverse engineered the whole thing, and now we are ready to do it because we need to get this done so that we don't hold up our road contractor and we end up, there will be some coordinations by both of our engineers, and it will be a little tricky in both of our contractors of who's fixing what and when they do it. But this is a way that we can afford it, so we get the sewer problem fixed, which affects the longevity of the road, and we get the road. So that's my story. Is there any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained that, Mayor, because when it said reject,
I know.
I had some little, somehow, you don't think people read this, but they do.
Yeah.
They're not doing the road.
Right,
They're not-
right.
No, it's not about the road. It's about the sewer underneath the road, but they're
Right.
doing the sewer and the road, so we can get that out to say we're not rejecting
Correct.
Pollard Street.
Correct.
Because it is terrible.
It is terrible.
Yes, it is.
It is terrible.
Terrible.
The sewer's terrible.
So when that happens, is the streets gonna be shut down completely, or is still gonna be open toward, during that procedure?
There'll be some time that it will be shut down completely because we've got to excavate to get to it.
Got a lot
We've
of work
got
to
to,
be done.
Okay.
do the repairs. We've got to backfill properly. It's, and then the road contractor has to come because now he's putting the road in. So it's going to be a bit of a mess, but
Yeah, I just need to know to let
I
some of those
understand.
neighbors that
And we-
had their
we
concerns
will
about
have to.
that. They
Yes.
thought, some reason they thought we were rejecting the road.
No,
overlay.
but it's all related.
No,
You
that's-
had, we had to figure
Yeah.
out a way.
Okay.
That was the puzzle. We got to figure out a way
I'm
to do
good.
both.
Thank you.
and both of our engineers, I mean, only one's here tonight, John, but both of our engineers were a lot of help in helping me figure this out.
Yeah.
And we tried some other things too that didn't work, but, you know.
So you, not to get off the subject, because you can't do that here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Most of the road projects we doing, some of them has sewer included in that?
No.
Just that?
This was one that we had to kick to the curb because of the
Okay.
sewer that we couldn't fix. In all of our other roads, the sewer, you know, and we, knock on wood, but the sewer's done.
So that mean we save some money so I can have a few more roads in my
Well,
area?
I don't know about that, sir. That would be spread evenly through the district, sir.
You talked about
But y'all saved
There'll
money
be
in
an
my
objection
district.
to that, Mr. Mayor.
He had a non-germane item he
Save
was
it
talking,
for
now
us.
he wants to take anything.
Any,
Nice try, huh?
yeah, oh, yeah, give him an A for effort. He hadn't been here the longest for no reason. Do I have any other comments?
Yep,
Questions or
I'm
comments?
gonna hold him till later.
Okay. Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. Madam Clerk, 5G.
Resolution number 2574, a resolution authorizing the increase of the general engineering services agreement with Favorite Habits and Associates.
This is a small item. We had set aside $5,000 last year. I have burnt through that. These are, well, the kind of things like Poly Street. These are the small projects that I get help with from Bayrod Habits and a lot of other little issues. So I would like to, if y'all give me $10,000, I can set that aside. And then when I need them to help with some engineering, I can call them and bounce some of these things off of them and go ahead and get them paid.
I'll move.
A second.
Councilman Troy Como and Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Is there any discussion on this item? Nope. Everybody good? Then please vote your machines. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thanks for all your work. We go back and forth quite a lot. Next item, 5H.
Resolution number 2575, a resolution approving change order number 1 for the American Rescue Plan Act Major Drainage Cleanout Project, Area C, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
This is just a swap out. It's not any money. We are swapping Test Street and gonna do a little canal on Camellia. It's a little swap out right-of-way issue, and so not to cost us any more money or to delay, we just switching from one little canal to another.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Dan Dahl, a second by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Is there any discussion on this item? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines.
Oh, I was reading the next one.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Resolution number 2576, a resolution awarding contract to Triumph Construction LLC for the City of New Iberia 2024 asphalt overlay project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
I'm gonna get it, this is a big one. This is our big part of the asphalt overlay, the last portion of our 17.1 million. This is a big one. Before he talks, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Representative Ricky Gonsalas, Councilman Ron Davis.
And that includes Poly Street.
Thank you. And that's the blacktop.
You wanna tell us about it?
All right, on June 26th, we opened bids. We received 3 bids for this project, with Triumph Construction being the lowest bidder at $6,455,166.24. Their bid was considered satisfactory, and we're asking you to award them the project. They were a little over our engineer's estimate, but they were within the funds available for construction,
Yes.
so.
Yes, sir. Councilman Dan Dahl.
Who got a cement contract?
Alonzo LLC out of Kenner got the concrete project, and the first project, the reconstruction project, is Glen Leger Construction.
And while he's here, before he sits down, I'd like him to update us on timelines, you know, what we're doing and when we're doing it.
The projects in the past, has Glenn did some of them in the city? That's what I'm saying.
He's done a couple of them.
Yeah. I just thought he would have been the guy. Okay.
It's public bid.
No, I know he did some in the past for us.
He was hoping to get this one, but it just
Yeah.
didn't work that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of asphalt work around the region.
I mean, $500,000.
Yeah.
Just,
Thank you.
you never know who's gonna give you the lowest price.
No. Questions, comments, or you want me to go to the kind of summary?
No, just gonna ask if you, are we gonna release a list of the roads, or is that available on the website, or?
Yeah, we
That
have a list.
in this
Look,
package?
Look,
I gave that to you.
Yeah, you got a
as
list of 'em.
recommendation.
What is
yeah,
the list?
yeah, that's
For
in
this
our packet.
particular project, that's the list for this project.
Correct, correct.
I see
just
Darby
asphalt, right?
Lane.
Yeah.
Yes,
I see Darby Lane,
yes, yes, ma'am.
Darby Lane at 182.
Yes, and I
I
have,
just have constituents, I think it's not happening because it's been so long.
and we have, I know he's gonna hit everything else, but he might not hit this one. I got $500,000 cash in capital outlay, which probably means it'll come in October, November. But, we got $500,000 in cash for roads.
Oh,
So you
Right.
can't do a lot of not looking to give horse in the mouth. You can't do a lot of roads for $500,000. But what we can do is engineering and probably find some small project. But that's gonna set us up to get more money next year in capital. So I'm excited about that. It's a little long-term, but that way, as we burn through this 17 million, plus we have $1 million grant that's doing another road, so that's 18 million, but by sometime next year, we would be able to get some money from the state, of a sizable portion. But anyway. All right, why don't you give us the summary, and when are the horses moving?
All right, so I'm just gonna give you a quick little timeline, just because this got started under the previous council. Some of you were here for the previous council, some of you were not. So the previous council approved these 3 projects in November 6th of last year. From that, we had to basically complete all the preliminary technical investigation work. We had to do final design, scope of work, finish the plans, the specifications. We had to re-estimate on final design and get these projects out for bid. The 3 projects, just as a little bit backup history, we issued the first project, which was the asphalt reconstruction project. It went out for bid on February 4th. The concrete went out on March 25th, and the overlay project went out for bid on May 20th. Just a little update on the asphalt reconstruction project. I know that it looks like they haven't started, but we actually have started. It's just, we're not in the major construction phase yet. With this project, they had to come in and they had to sample 15 of the roads. They have to come in and actually take I'm not talking sampling, they had to take 600 pounds of material from the street. And that has to go to the lab because it's a full reconstruction. They have to run testing on all that material to come up with our percentages and of values for us to use for the cement and lime and everything else. So that takes a little time. So the contract came in at the end of May for 2 days on a Saturday and Sunday, the 24th and the 25th. They took all the samples they needed. They got about 5,000 pounds of material that they loaded up and they brought to the labs in Lafayette. I got the first results today on 11 of the 15 streets. We only had 1 street fail, and by I mean failing, just the material is not usable. So that's Eugene Street in your district. We're not going to be able to use the existing dirt that's under the road. It's not suitable. We can't get the compaction that we need and the strength out of the material, so we're going to have to pull it out and replace it with fresh dirt when we build that road. That's a little bit cost. It's not that dirt's pretty cheap, and it's not a long street, so that will be a little bit affecting that budget. But all the other streets, we were able to use the existing base material. I got that report today. I sent it over to the contractor. They are scheduled July 14th, Monday, to mobilize full crew here to New Iberia to start the actual reconstruction. And they're gonna work them, they should be here until they finish. So the first 4 streets, they did submit a schedule, we sent that to the city, so they knew what the bond was, but the first 4 streets will be Amita, Doucette, Belva, and Sear in that order. And they're gonna basically work that side around and through the north side of town. So, so that one is getting started here very, very shortly. It just takes a little time because of the testing that we have to do on the material. So to get all that done. The remaining streets, there's 5 streets left. We'll have those tests finished in 2 to 3 weeks, and everything will be done. So, but out of the 19 streets, they have a clear construction instructions for, what is that, 14 out of the 19. So that'll get going very, very soon. Concrete, we had a little delay in getting the contract awarded. The contractor's insurance was problematic. It took us several rounds back and forth with them and the insurance company to get everything corrected and to meet specifications. A little longer we wanted it to take, but we got it done. The city executed the contract on the 23rd of last month. We have our pre-construction meeting scheduled with the contractor on the 16th of this month. So as the 23rd, they have 30 days before their day starts, so technically their contract days start on the 23rd of this month. We anticipate, they're very eager to get started, so we anticipate them showing up before the end of the month and starting preliminary work. That is a 300 working day project. It is not a fast project. So we anticipate once we start this month, we're going to be under construction for 12 to 16 months. The first project will probably only last probably about 6 months, maybe the most, just because it's a smaller project. But the second project, the concrete project, and this final asphalt project, those are very large projects. They're going to be a year. So there's going to be a lot of inconvenience, especially with 3 projects going on at once. So
Get them going.
I apologize for the phone calls you're going to get because, we're going to mess up traffic, but that's just life. So on this particular project here, after you award tonight, if you guys award the project tonight to Triumph, tomorrow I got the contract ready to roll. So I will FedEx it them as soon as I get the resolution. I will FedEx them the contract, and we should have that back should be by the end of next week. Typically 45 to 60 days after you approve tonight, they will start construction. That's a typical time frame. So that kind of gives you a time frame on everything. You're gonna have one starting up in 2 weeks, one probably starting up by the end of the month, and then 2 months you'll have a big project getting underway.
Okay, I'm holding you to that.
I'm going as fast as I can go.
I know you are. I'm impatient, but we need it.
Mayor, I have a
Yes, sir.
question. Can we make sure that, I'm sure you do a good job at it, that just because it's an empty lot, that's not going to be a staging area?
Yes.
You need to get, the trouble in the past we've been.
Yeah, I actually I had to write a lot of things new in the spec book from the last project to this project.
Yep.
And as one of the things is they have to provide us a written agreement with the landowner for them to use that property, for them to use it. So, the city has lots of property, and we've offered city-owned property as staging areas for equipment and stuff. The city has property all over town that's conveniently located for most of these streets. So, we will do a lot better job of trying to get that resolved and making sure that they're actually doing what they're supposed to do.
And Mayor, is there any way we can identify the streets that's going to be happening on our website so the neighbors or the people that live on the street know it's going to be happening?
Sure, I think we could.
So,
I think we could.
because people ask us and then it's too late. They're there doing it.
I know somebody who learned GIS, so I think we could do that.
With these projects, the contractor has to issue a newspaper notification they basically, we get a public release statement to the city. The city puts it on social media. They get it to the newspaper. They have to get it to us within 7 to 21 days of them actually starting construction. And it lists the streets that they're gonna start construction. And the contractor has to go to every house and every business on that street and give them a tag that says within 40, can't be more than 48 hours. They're gonna give them a 48-hour notice, basically saying, hey, look, we're about to start construction on your street. We'll be here in 2 days.
Good.
So
I just talked to my GIS consultant, and so what we're gonna do is we'll color code the 3 contracts. So they'll know if it's reconstruct, if it's concrete, or if it's asphalt overlay.
Well, I appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
great.
We'll get a copy.
one thing, if you get complaints from your district, if they didn't get notified, let the city know, let us know, because that is a major issue in the contract. If they don't tag the houses like they're supposed to, we actually fine them. So
We upped our liquidated, if you remember last time, our contractor was a good contractor, but he figured out our liquidated damages were low, and he ghosted on us for a couple of months. I don't think we'll have that this time. We spent a lot of time looking at various fines in various ways to make sure that they realize they need to stay in,
Because
in a
I know the
timely
city,
fashion.
Mayor, we started that a few years ago about going to let the homeowner know we'll be doing work in front of your house. Just something that's simple. It goes a long way.
I mean, a lot of people, they work during the day, so they may not get the tag, but they're supposed to leave it on the door, the front door of the house, or a door that faces the street.
Or they can't get in that driveway because there's a truck in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know, but I appreciate you doing that.
From a contractor's basis, have you had any other work that this company has done in local municipalities that you get any feedback on?
This company, no. They're out of Baton Rouge. They've done quite a bit of work in the Baton Rouge area. Anytime we have a contract that we don't know, never heard of, we go do some digging. I mean, they've been awarded DOTD projects. They have quite a few in the Baton Rouge area that they've done. I think they've done some work in Lafayette, but this will be the first here. But they're also the contractor on your Pollard Seward line, so
Yes.
the coordination there is going to be easy because they just kind of
They're
coordinate.
gonna talk to themselves.
Yeah. So, which, in the long run, that's going to be much easier for everybody because
It will.
having two different contractors would have been a nightmare.
We got two different engineers on the sewer and the road on that project? I already
On
go
that
both.
road, no, because Dominguez Abo does all
Yeah,
of
right,
our
right.
sewer,
Yeah.
and they do all our roads.
I'm just going to come in at the end and fix what's left.
There you go.
On
Yes, sir.
Julia Street, Phase 1 or Part 1, you have from widen transition. What does that mean?
So on Julia Street, there's a small section of Julia that's wider. So that's going towards Admiral Doyle. So Julia Street, it has curb and gutter, and
Yep.
then it narrows down and it next down to just a narrow road. We're only doing that from the narrowed down section to Admiral Doyle. We did some years ago and it's still in very good shape. We're just tackling that curb and gutter section between Dale
Dale and that.
and where it
I
next
know-
down.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
that part is in worse, it's not in great shape. We did it back in the '09 project, but didn't really hold up as well as we wanted it to.
Okay.
But
Thank
the other part of Julia goes from Dale all the way to Persian. So we're doing that whole side as well.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
And on Lombard, that's from the corner of Anderson Street towards the Parkway.
Yeah, that's gonna go behind the West End Park. That's gonna go, and it turns to Gilbert. That's in the curve by the pumping station.
Okay.
So we're gonna do Gilbert and Lombard from Anderson all the way to Field Street.
Everybody good? Yes, sir.
Bank Street. They started Bank Street on the other end off Amador.
Correct.
Are they gonna,
This is the 2 blocks that are remaining.
right, 2 blocks
Yes.
remaining?
I know that's kind of a big stickler, but
Yeah,
didn't make the council's list on the last project.
Right,
It
right.
stopped at St. Peter Street, so that's where
Right.
we stopped it.
there was a lot about that and Iberia Street.
Iberia Street is something the city's working on.
Iberia Street, we got $1 million grant for Iberia Street, so it's not in this, but it's
Okay.
coming.
All right.
But we got money to do it from Main Street to Admiral Doyle. We got $1
Good,
million
good,
to
good.
do it, so it is coming. It will be a separate project. Yes, sir.
They were, there was a truck out there today on Iberia Street shooting elevations. Yeah.
No, the
so-
engineers are working on it, and I think
Yeah.
it's coming pretty soon.
Yeah, so
Because
I'm
that's
hoping
those
it
guys to
comes
see that
next-
progress.
I would say it'll
That's
come
a
next
street
year.
that definitely
That's
needs a
through the
lot of
state.
work.
That's through the state. So as we're working on this one through this year of construction, that will come too.
Yep, great.
All right.
I did
Good.
notice that today.
So I just want to just quickly update too on basically for these 3 projects, you basically, and this is all services, construction, the engineering, inspection, testing. So right now, we have committed, for this quotation mark, because that's some of its estimates. The $14,061,177. That's basically, after you approve this project tonight, that's basically the full budget that we've committed out of the bond for
Correct.
these 3 projects.
Correct.
And we're gonna, we monitor the cost on a monthly basis, on a street-by-street basis. So, as we finish them in groups, we'll consolidate pricing. If we have ups or downs, we'll come to you intermittently, because we don't want to wait to the end.
Right, and the reason we didn't commit all the money is because, and it's gonna work, we got the $500,000 from the state this year cash. When they come next year with money for roads, we will have a match. So I have held some money, because we're gonna turn our money, if we match, if we put up $1 million, we'll get 3. If we put up 2, we'll get, however much they wanna give me, I wanna be,
The horse trading.
yes, sir, I wanna be really ready and able to come with that match.
Right, right.
Yeah, so that's now, if we don't get it next year, let's just say we don't, well, then we're just gonna do another little road project. But
Right.
The opportunity to do a 25, 30% match and get that much money out of it was well worth it. We'll see. I think it's gonna work. I'm betting on it.
Yeah, another road project questions.
Me,
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a date and time as to when you're gonna start Darby Lane?
I knew that was coming.
That,
We were not getting off of this subject.
The hour and minutes, please.
that I don't, I can request them, try to get it done earlier in the project, but
It's
it's,
so
Hey,
bad.
hey.
I had bad roads, like several in my area, but that is the one that gets the most attention, but it's very well traveled.
yes.
It's really bad.
Once we award the project, we get into the whole we gotta go through the contract phase and we get submittals and one's the schedule. Once they give me a schedule, I'll better tell you where it's gonna be in the mix.
Okay.
I can't guarantee it's, cause it's, the contractor he's responsible for scheduling and planning the work. If I force him to go do something, then he can ask for, okay, well, I'm doing something out of order. You need to pay me extra money. So I
Oh, my
will
goodness.
request that it try to get done early in the project, but I
getting any
can't
calls
guarantee
about
it.
Okay, it's just, there's no more lines either right there, and
Well, we're
so
gonna
people
we're
are
gonna-
turning from 182 onto Darby in the wrong lane to avoid the shenanigans that's on that
We're gonna
road.
actually in the project, we're gonna redo the pavement markings completely from 182 all the way to Jane Street.
Yeah.
So, but the pavement markings won't come to the end of the job.
I know.
Because that's
I think they'll stay in their lane though if it was smooth.
yeah. We'll put some temporary. I mean, they will put some temporary
Yeah.
markings when we do repair it, so
Right,
hopefully that'll
right.
help kind of keep people where they belong.
So look, when you make that call for Brooke, remember Week Street, cause I called, it was 5 years ago. Cause I'm
hang
getting
on
my,
one
she's
second.
getting on Darby and I'm getting Week Street.
I get personal phone calls on Week Street.
I know that.
That's because we've been handing out your number.
I know, I know.
I have not, John. I did not hand your number out to anybody, so I'm the
all-
nice one up here.
You pay me to fix your problems.
Yes, sir.
Look, Bennett, you're the expert. I don't know if it's me or my imagination.
I can wait,
But
I
with
can
the
wait.
weather we've been having with all this rain and stuff, to me, it seems like the roads are getting worse.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say?
It does. The problem we have in the city is we have a lot of asphalt that's really old, okay? And once that asphalt starts getting to a certain age, I mean, asphalt is really only designed for 20 years. Most of the asphalt you got in the town is 30, some of it's 40 years old. It's been pushed.
And no
pushed
road
and
program
pushed.
for a very long time until we
And
got here.
The more
Yeah,
rain you
well.
get, it gets in the cracks of this stuff, and it starts loosening up. And the minute you get one pothole, that's it. It's like it opens up the crack in the surface, and just constant traffic pounding on it. It's great until you disturb it, and then it just basically wants to disintegrate on you.
I say that because I went and inspected some of the roads and looked like since the rain comes, I mean, it has gotten a lot worse.
Every time it does. Every time we have a wet season, the roads deteriorate quicker.
Yeah.
Gets to the underlayment,
Yes, sir.
don't stop. The striping, when you were talking about that, is that included in, that is
Yes,
included?
every street that's on this list,
Will be-
unless they're like a small little, there's a few of them on here that won't have pavement markings just because they're so narrow.
Yeah.
And they're like a little alley. We can't stripe those. I mean, there
Right.
isn't enough road to put a pavement marker on. But any major thoroughfare that's at least 18 feet wide is going to get striping.
Because I was getting calls about that.
Everybody good? All right. It is
Past time.
Then please vote your machines.
Call FedEx now.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
I'm sure I'll call you tomorrow.
It's okay.
5J, Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 2577, a resolution authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute a master professional services agreement by and between the City of New Iberia and Compliance Enviro Systems LLC for storm drain evaluation services.
Okay, I'm back on drainage, as we will be until we drain. That's just how it's gonna go. This is a company that we're hiring, and they will camera lines for us. Not only they camera, they furnish us with a video, and they furnish us with GIS information. Because it is my plan, and you'll see we have some other things later, that in GIS, we're working off of drainage maps that are hand-drawn, they're so old, or copies of maps that are from the 60s. And believe me, we're finding that when we go out there, it's not always like the plan, okay, because they're just so old. So this is gonna identify, we had about a 2-hour meeting today with our engineer, with Public Works. You'll see a lot of things tonight. This is gonna help our engineers who are out there analyzing and looking at all of our problems. We're gonna camera all our problem areas. You know, we're cleaning the drains. We have something tonight further about drain cleaning. But I need them to camera all of the line between all of the catch basins, and our runs are not consistent. Some of them are very long. So just like we were looking at, the example of the plumbing pipes earlier, it's the same thing with our drainage pipes. They are very old. We don't know if there's some slip joints. We don't know how much buildup there is, if there's something caught in them. So we identified all of the major problem areas that we've had flooding, and especially all this new flooding that we've never experienced or in a very long time. At least under my administration, a whole lot more houses and streets flooded in the last few events than have before. So this company's going to come in and I think do us a lot of good and give us a lot of information, and time is of the essence. As you see, we have ramped up doing things all over the place. We're getting right-of-ways we've never had before. We did that this week. We got a right-of-way on Thursday and cleaned the lines and the ditches this week. We got some private-public partnerships going where it's in the parish, number one, and number two, it's private property, and we still found a way to go clean those. So we're out there hustling as much as we can to take on new responsibilities to try to stop the drainage. But this is a tool that I think is going to help us a lot. So that's what that's about. It's a contract, and it's $78,000. They're breaking it into about 6 areas that we need help immediately, and so they will get out there soon. And the engineer and I made the list accordingly to information he needs. They're all flood-prone areas, but, we kind of categorize them and get me this information because it'll take longer to design this area or to figure the problem in that area. So we're trying to do it, with a strategic plan, but it's a $78,000 contract, basically.
It says 60, huh? Not to
Yeah.
exceed 60?
Yeah, I went up a little bit because we added 2 more streets, so I'm going to be asking for $78,000. Not 2 more streets, 2 more neighborhoods. Questions, comments on this? Yes, sir.
Will this, like you were saying, some of it will be going into the outside of Iberia?
No, we did a few little ditch drains.
Okay.
This is all in the city.
All right, cool. All right.
Looking at everything, man, it looks like a very good and comprehensive type of plan and approach to it. So this is going to give us a map also?
This is going to give us, in conjunction with this, with the other contractor I'm bringing in later, they have some GIS capacity, and my clerk now has a bunch of it, and she has basically trained herself, and we bought a brand-new system. So between, I think she's going to do that road map first, but we're also going to get on this, and that's my goal. My goal is, in short order, to have a full map that reflects how our drainage really is, how our system is designed.
And this is going to do more or less citywide?
This is not citywide. This is all of, right now, we're starting with all of our flood-prone areas, the areas we've had problems. I figure that I can come back to you, as I always do, and this is something that we might be able to continue. The second contractor is a new contractor. He has similar equipment, and he's actually going to be cleaning some things. So there could be some overlap. I'm trying to spread that out so there isn't, and I'm getting information from 2 different sections of town, 2 different areas, give it that way, of neighborhoods that are flooding. But this person will do our, could just be a one-time contract. Let's just see how it goes. If we see that between this and the other contractor, we need more information and there are more problem areas, I'm trying to build this up a stable that we have never had of additional, resources. Yes, sir.
So Mayor, the pipes that we're gonna be looking through is gonna be given to you by our engineers that we hire now, or by you, or by, how do we figure out what pipes we're gonna be checking? In what
Well,
area?
that's what we had a meeting, and not just today. Chandler and I have been going back and forth since the floods. So Chandler and I have been working on that. I mean, I meet him on sites. I've been out with, with the crews. So we met today and kind of finalized the areas that we picked where we're having major issues.
So this company only looks at the pipe, doesn't recommend the size of the pipe or anything
No,
else?
that's
Has to
all
be the
information.
engineer.
Right. That's the survey, and we're spending $60,000. We
Yeah.
have survey crews, and Chandler is our engineer on that, Chandler Staples. That's exactly what's happening now already in all the areas that flooded. He's looking at pipe sizes, he's looking at capacity, he's looking at the main trunk lines to make sure they're not overloaded, because you can add inlets and change your small pipes. If your main feeders are maxed out, you need to know that because you can't move any more water. So he's analyzing all of that. He's doing some hydrology studies where the surveyors are figuring the exact depth that the water was, figuring the surface of that area, so they can do a hydrology model and understand how our water's moving, how fast it's moving, where our main feeders, if they have the capacity. And all that's gonna give him, best case scenario, I'll take Highland as an example, okay? There's two 60-inch pipes, and then they run into this giant drain box that's probably 8 feet by 8 feet. You win the side of that box, okay? That box runs none of their water goes into T-Bayou, as they thought. It all goes to Bayou Teche. Well, if those two 60s, the big drain box, you will never overload that. Those two 60-inch pipes, we need to know if they are or not. If they have capacity, then we're going to figure out how much capacity, and then we're going to run around between Public Works, probably some private contractors that will bid out. We're going to run around and add inlets until we fill them up. We have some real issues if they're full. If they're maxed out now, then we have a new challenge, is to find out how we can move more water. But, looking at it, if you just run around with Public Works and add things, and I can tell you, when you look at those maps and go look at the work that's been done, there are times that people let's just add a drain box.
Right.
Let's just make a cover bigger. This is the first time that we're really using a bunch of, modern technology to help us analyze the situation and make sure we're not doing something that's really not gonna help.
So when they do this and the information they get will be put on a map, so there's no
Yes.
the next administration.
Yeah, I don't
well,
wanna lose,
we
that's
don't know what's
exactly right.
underneath
That's exactly right,
there.
because,
That's been going on forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and, we're gonna just satisfy this guy, so we can put two 18-inch pipes.
Yeah,
And just let
and-
it stay, and it goes into a 12-inch.
Right, and that has
So that's
happened.
what these people are doing? Is identifying?
Those people are
size?
giving us the information.
Okay, good.
And then Chandler will identify to make sure if it's adequate. They're also, while they're cameraing, they're gonna find, and I'm spreading them out in two different directions, because the other guy's cleaning when I get to
Yeah.
him. But that gives me eyes, ears, and equipment inside pipes all over town. And what that does is give me information, because if we see an area that's clogged, if we see an area that a pipe is collapsed, well then, if it's small that Public Works can handle it, then I can send Joe out, which we're doing already. I can send Joe out, crack that concrete, get to that pipe and change it. If we run into a major failed line, or we see that there's something bigger, well then I can bring in a contractor.
Cool, good.
So that's gonna basically be taking care of some of these areas that we gave you addresses on, where it flooded. and
Okay,
all
like
of
in
that.
your, and I can't name them all, but like in your district, you've caught, Caroline and those areas that have flooded and those streets around there, it's on the map. If you think about it, of course, Highland, of course, Summerfield, of course, Acadian Acres. If you start looking further, I'm trying to think, there's areas all over. We
Right.
had flooding on Superior Street we never had. Okay, so.
Dotson.
Dotson, Trotter Street is getting worse, okay?
Right.
And this is a recent thing. We've always had flooding, but when you go out there and see how much, Plantation Drive, we had houses flood. Some of the streets.
Off of Main Street, we just found
Off of
one.
Main Street, we just found one. So, and as we're out and about and finally kind of looking to come with solutions, people are coming in. You'd be amazed. People are saying, oh, well, I flooded twice. I just never called anybody. I just never did. I just cleaned my house and went back to work. But there are a bunch of areas. One area, I know the pipes are too small, but I want to camera it because I have some reasons I can't believe how small they are. We've always had problems around St. Edward School. So we clean the lines, we get out there, we do what we can do. It's never fixing it. I'm amazed that the few manholes that I stuck my head in, you can't do anything with an 8-inch pipe. It's ridiculous. So we're going to camera that area so I can, figure out what's wrong. But we're taking all the major areas that we've gotten complaints and and I'm sure we're going to have people. I had somebody call me today about some other areas. This is the beginning. This is where we're concentrating right now, is where it flooded in homes. That is, we had somebody, quote a Facebook, critical we weren't cleaning some drains. Those drains were not around anybody's house. The immediate charge for me, and I would think for y'all, is that for the people we serve, we got to handle the houses that are flooded. So that's what this money does. And if this works, and I think it will, you're going to see that we're going to be doing more of this. We've got a big city, and we've run around and cleaned drains for, 40 years. However long we've had VACOL trucks, and our VACOL trucks are breaking. They're old. We have one that we are taking bids on. It takes 10 months to get it. I don't want to wait 10 months. And we have drainage money, so that's kind of the point of all this new activity. Anybody else?
I'd like to commend you on taking an opportunity to run this survey. It sounds like it's going to be some real good information.
I think it will.
Comes back.
I think it will.
And we can utilize it and map it even for future
Yeah,
generations.
oh yeah, and you can't criticize anybody for not doing it. We didn't have this technology. I mean, we might as well take advantage, and we're finding a pool of new contractors and new people that are using or have invested in this technology.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
and one thing we want to do, thank our representation in Baton Rouge
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and the governor and that for getting us so much more money in the capital outlay, way more than we thought
Let me tell
we'd
you,
get.
that drainage money that we're gonna, we didn't even talk about that yet. We got 4.2. We got $4.2 million in drainage money. We'll put a map together of all the new flooding, talk to all of our reps, the governor, I mean, everybody stepped up. That is also making a lot of this activity because we haven't had this much drainage money. We have a grant for $3 million that and sent it to Kennedy and some others are helping. We gotta get the Corps off at dead center. We've been waiting for almost 8 months now. As soon as they give me that permit, then I can sign the papers with the state. Well, that frees up $3 million. So we knew we were gonna have $3 million. However, if that doesn't go through or the state doesn't give me the money, I still need that detention pond. So we're gonna, and there is a difference between retention and detention. I'm not stupid because people were criticizing me because they didn't understand the difference, but it's a detention pond. It detains the water, then it lets it out. It does not retain the water. Anyway, in Brooks District, if we don't, for some reason, get the money from the state, then we're gonna spend the $3 million that we have. I fully think we're gonna get the money from the state, but until it's signed, you never know. Then that frees up $3 million. That began to build this army that I'm building. But when the state came across with $4 million more that we get next year, now you see I'm in high gear because this is the city has never had an opportunity to have that $3 million extra, the million we always have hanging around, that's $4, and $4 million more. We've never had $8 million. We have more flooding and more challenges than we've ever had, but the opportunity is what, if you haven't noticed I'm doing, I'm building us an army because we got money.
But I want to thank Baton Rouge because
Oh, yes, thank you for that.
they really came up. They came, I mean, big time.
Yes,
Big time.
big time.
We rebuilding the city because this stuff that been needed to be done years and years ago, man.
And our flooding's worse for whatever reason, And some of it is probably out of our control, but we can't look at that. We got to do what we can do.
But you're gonna find out. When you run
That's
those, once
exactly
you run
right.
those cameras and shoot the elevations, you're gonna
We're
find
going
out.
to find
what the
out.
problem
And
is.
I'm sure we're going to find some problems and we'll fix them.
So the other thing with the problems that we may find, some of them may be urgent, that they have to be taken care of.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we're
Yes.
prepared to do this.
Yes, each one is a separate project. I got that cleared with finance. Okay, so we can bid them out separately. There are some when under certain dollar values, we can bring a contractor in and just award. We are using private contractors. I see other governments, well, I know, they're calling me. They're asking me, how'd you get that done so fast? But like the canal cleaning that we did with the $1 million, that's almost finished, that we started last year, we bid that out and brought in some private contractors. There are many things Public Works can do. There are many things that are above our Public Works. We don't have the bigger pieces of equipment. Y'all all know that we are short-staffed because civil service doesn't pay very well. And every time I look to do a raise, it costs me $500,000 that we don't have. And you have to maintain those gaps, so you can't take the bottom person and, as much as I want to, and say, let's get the bottom guy to 15. By the time you respect this old structure of civil service, you just spent $500,000. So that's not our answer. But to do nothing is not our answer either. So this is a way that by bringing in contractors and thinking a little out of the box, we've been able to move. Everybody good? Please vote your machines.
Did we get a motion?
I don't even know.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think we did.
I move.
Motion.
I'm sorry.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Troy Como, second by Councilwoman Brooke Markcott. Sorry about that. Everybody good? Then please vote your machines. Thank you. See, I'm all cranked up. It's good stuff. Madam Clerk, 5K.
Resolution number 2578, a resolution approving proposal submitted by Dean Teakle Consulting for a traffic signal analysis of the intersection of South Lewis Street at 20 Arpent Road and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
This is our study of the traffic light at 20 Arpent and a stop sign
Cherokee.
on Cherokee. So do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All right. Why did I not think the two of you would be my first and my second? Councilman David Merrill, Councilman Ron Davis. Is there any discussion on this item?
Something I wanted.
Y'all good with it?
Amen.
Everybody good with it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Then please vote your machines. Thank you. I'll get it done as quick as I can. 5L.
Resolution number 2579, a resolution authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute an agreement by and between the City of New Iberia and Louisiana Hydroblast Solutions LLC for drainage maintenance.
Okay, before I start talking this time, let me get a motion.
I'll move.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, Councilman Troy Como. This is another portion of this is another little division of our new army. These people have started a company. They have three, basically think of a vac-all truck on a trailer. They have three of them. They also have the GIS capacity and the camera capacity, and they actually clean. So we are spending $100,000 and spreading them out through town. And what they're gonna do for now is our chronic flood areas again, okay? Because Public Works has one vac-all truck, it's an '07. It's been in the shop 2 times for overheating, it's been in the shop for leaks, it's been in the shop, we're using the hell out of it, but it breaks. The sewer has one. They need it for sewer, but every time they're not using it, we go pick it up and we're using it. It's a newer model, but now we're working double duty with it. I think, I gotta make sure we don't rag that thing out. We are buying one. They're $600,000, but they are 10-month delivery. This company can come in. We are sending them in other areas that's not the first company. And so what they're doing, like as much as Summerfield floods, we know that every one of their pipes are clean. That they've all been checked, they've been surveyed. That was the first area we hit. Right next door is Acadian Acres. This company will start in Acadian Acres because some of their drainage is related. Okay, so while I'm getting that information in Acadian Acres, remember we sent the other contractor somewhere else. So I'm double dipping on how fast I can get information. But these people are actually cleaning. So what they do, they lift up the drain cover, they clean from drain to drain, and video and show you the before and after. So that's gonna be invaluable. So I'll get them started, and they're gonna work different areas of town. We have it told they're a brand-new company. We are working together to establish, how they're gonna do this. The price is all by diameter of pipe and linear foot. So we don't even know, because our maps aren't right, of all the various diameters and linear footages that we have. So as they're cameraing it and as we're getting billed, we're just gonna work together and keep track of it, because they're not even sure how big the pipe is. As they start on one end, it starts as a 24-inch pipe. You'll go for a ways, and then it turns to an 18-inch pipe. Then it jumps up to a 36. It's just crazy. So many things have been added onto with no engineering. So anyway, this company is another valuable tool that, and you say, well, why are you buying a new vac-all truck, all right? They can't do the whole town, all right? So what they will do is this first contract, and then a maintenance contract that we decide what are the hot spots that we want them to be clean, let's say 3 times a year. Because we're not gonna be able to fix every pipe in every area of town all at once. So let's say we have a chronic problem. It's all using your head. We have a chronic problem and there's only 12-inch pipes. Those 12-inch pipes are not where those 9-inch pipes are. They're not gonna be able to ever carry the capacity that a bigger pipe can. So they technically probably should be cleaned more often. So once we have all this information, we hire them to clean those while Public Works is running around. When you're prepping for a hurricane, Public Works does streets. We are 2 drivers short. We are quite a few laborers short and workers short. But they have concrete streets to do. They have drains to clean out. They have sidewalks to do. That they pick up all these tires and all this trash and extra things. They are inflicted with so many things that if, people didn't do the wrong thing, they'd have much more time to be constructing something. But Public Works is my go-to when we get a thunderstorm and a tree falls and a road's blocked at night, whatever. They do a little bit of everything. So this will free them up while they're doing that to handle other things. And at the same time, when our new vac-all truck does come in, we'll use the old one. We're gonna keep the old one. I'm never gonna get rid of it as long as it runs, because you can't buy one that 10 months to come in. That'll just be our spare. But once the new truck comes in, there are many, many drains in many areas. They will never run out of work. So don't think that this will replace them. It won't. But this is another tool in the army, another division.
So, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure when the timing is on this one, but will they be in conjunction with the other compliance and environmental?
Sir, I'm trying to get everybody going right at once. I told both those companies, I was calling them in the morning. When this gets approved, I want them to hit. What my hope is that these people start, I'm gonna be somewhat reasonable. These people start in the next 2 weeks. The camera people start in the next 2 weeks. If they can start quicker than that, I want them. Public Works will not quit. I have kind of shifted a few people around, and they will continue to, as fast as Chandler can turn out these corrective projects, then I will decide with Chandler, usually, and Joe, what Public Works can handle and what needs to be better. But now that we have money and we got a cash flow, I'm not backing up. I mean, this is, you know, we waging war with drainage. And so I want these people to go as fast as they can.
Mayor.
I need the information. Yes,
As
sir.
he mentioned, so the camera guys go before these people?
They go on in two different areas. So when the camera guy finds a problem, if it's a small problem Joe's crew can fix, Joe fix. If it's a big problem, I'll call in one of those contractors. He'll be able to coordinate, and I'm gonna hook the two of them together. And then when this guy's cleaning an area, if I see that there's a flood threat, I'll send him to go clean the dirty pipes first. In other words, it's kind of cool that the camera guy will, in some instances, will probably uncover something
Yeah.
that this company can go and hit as soon as they can. We might even pull them off. You know, they got to be a little flexible. If I really see something that's a real danger, we might pull these guys off and say, I know you're in Acadian Acres right now, but hurry up and, you know, can you spend a day and go, or half a day and go clean this problem up?
So when we approve this, they come to the city of New Iberia, they do not leave? Or they might go to another project? in
This is a new
parish and then come
company.
back.
They have 3 units. We are going to talk scheduling and that kind of thing. I can't say that they only going to work for us because they're hoping to expand this, but my hope is that one of those units is always in
Just stay
town.
here. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I think that's his business model as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Everybody good? Please vote your machines. Thank you very much. Can't do it without y'all.
Well, it's fun when you have money.
Well, you can get things done, sir.
Oh, yeah.
5 M.
Resolution number 2580, a resolution authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute an agreement by and between the City of New Iberia and Civic Plus LLC for a full-service supplementation subscription and related services.
This is our ordinances and codes that's online, so this is a subscription that we need just for our,
That's the billboards too.
no, this is in-house, our ordinances and those kind of things.
I make a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Second.
Councilman Warren White. Any discussion on this item?
Nope.
Everybody good? Please vote your machines. There you go, Laney. It's really for Laney. 5 N.
Resolution number 2581, a resolution granting authority for the City of New Iberia, State of Louisiana, to submit application materials to the Department of Environmental Quality and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Right, this is our 4.5 million that we're borrowing at 9%, at 0.9% interest.
9%.
0.9, that lets us do the flow reroute. I'll see if y'all are awake. Lets us do the flow reroute for sewer. This is huge. This will fix a lot of our problems, but this is what we're working on trying to get as fast as we can.
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Brooke Marcotte,
Second.
Councilman Dave Merrill. Is there any discussion on this item?
And we're doing that with no increase of sewer user fee.
Yeah. What's that?
We're doing this with no increase of sewer user.
Well, sir, I'm glad you brought that up. We had 5 million last year that the state gave us, but then they asked for a stability factor and a study. They did the study and they said, I can't believe it, but they said you got to raise your sewer rates. So our sewer user fee, many of our citizens think is really high. When you compare it to surrounding communities, it's not. But if it's high to you, it's high to you. You don't care what other people are paying. So we all discussed it last year and said, we're not going up on the sewer user fee. So we can't get, as good as we can hustle money, we can't get any grants for sewer. And we're not going to be able to participate in any state program unless we raise those rates. So we got creative. We found a way to put together $4 million for the Headworks project, which is improving all of the sewer system, where we're going to be getting that extra sewer from First Solar plus some other things. We're spending $4 million in-house to do that. This flow reroute we would have done last year. This is going to take sewer, and I'm not the engineer, but this is going to take sewer from the Acadian Acres area, across the bayou, the Hilltop area, the Highland area, and redirect the flow so that we get the pressure off of those areas. our system is at its max. The reason when it rains and you can't flush your toilet is because the system is maxed out and there is too much sewer as well as too much leakage in those old pipes. So our engineers assure us, because this is a big ticket for us, that this $4.5 million flow reroute will take enough pressure off of those lines that we will finally correct that problem. But there's no other way to correct it. This is our shot. So we are borrowing $4.5 million from the state.
So this is gonna be like a force main type situation?
Yeah, it's a whole flow reroute, and the engineers have just about, the plans are done because we were gonna do this when we thought we could take the $5 million. And, you know, many communities took that money, that water sector money, started spending it. Then all of a sudden, how these mayors calling me saying, what about this stability study? Now I already started spending the money, am I gonna have to raise the sewer rates? And I said, yeah. They told me I was the only one, that the city of Iberia was the only one to turn the money back in. Because most people have started spending it. Well, again, I hedged my bet. I wasn't spending it until I knew all the, you know, what's the catch? Is there a catch?
Did it the right way.
So when I realized there was a catch, you know, it put this project way behind. But now we found another way to do it.
So this could include some pumping stations.
It has some pump station upgrades, a lot of flow reroute, and I think a few new ones. A new path of travel for the pipe, which they've worked out, you know, because we got to get to the plan. So it's a complicated project, but this will let us get it going.
Mayor, where does this sewer go now?
Cotton Street.
It goes to Cotton?
Some of
And
it.
you-
Some of it goes to Cotton, some of it goes to our plant, but goes through some pumps that we are going to bypass so that we don't hit those areas.
Gotcha.
In other words, you know, it'll still end up on Amador, but it won't go in the path. If it went to the path that we're traveling now, we wouldn't be relieving the pressure.
Correct.
So it's
Gotcha.
a reflow and reroute. I don't have it with me or memorized, but the
It's coming
engineers
from
have worked
McKinney
it out.
Acre towards Squirrel Run, I remember.
Yes, yeah,
That's what they're
yeah,
only
that's
connecting
right.
the pipe.
That's right.
But it could help the north side of the body.
Yes, it will.
Oh,
It
it
will.
will?
It will.
It's gonna take it out of the existing system.
Correct.
Yeah.
And bypass it.
Correct.
And send it
Somewhere
straight,
else.
more directly to the plant.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha.
Thank God.
No, it's time. Long overdue. Any questions or comments? And I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you very much. Who, we out to 5? Let's see. 6A.
Introduction of special ordinance number 2024-2025-18, an ordinance amending the budget to provide for further drainage improvements, professional services, and a backhoe truck, and setting for public hearing on July 15th, 2025.
I need a motion.
It's moved.
Second.
Representative Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Ron Davis. This is the $1 million that we pledged that we would fix our drainage issues or really get going with them and buy the backhoe truck. Well, it's time to bid out the backhoe truck. So you got to have the money in place before you do that. So that's what this is about, but it's not anything new. It's, you know, we'd already talked about it. Is there any discussion? Nope. Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you, thank you. 6B, Madam Clerk.
Introduction of ordinance number 2025-19, an ordinance providing for the levy within the city of New Iberia, state of Louisiana, effective July 1st, 2025, of a 0.25% sales and use tax, the tax upon the sale at retail, the use, the consumption, the distribution, the storage for use or consumption, and the lease or rental of tangible personal property, and the lease or rental of tangible personal property or digital products within the city, and upon sales of services in the city, and for the assessment, collection, payment thereof, and the dedication of the proceeds of said tax, and the purpose for which the proceeds of the tax may be expended, said tax having been authorized at a special election held in the city on March 29th, 2025, and setting for public hearing on July 15th, 2025.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Brooke Marcotte and Councilman David Merrill. Is there any discussion?
So, Mayor, today, I know in my business, we had to go up a 1/4 cent sales tax today. That wasn't this?
Yes,
Or is this one?
I'm sure.
What's that?
Today, I know we got a notice from our
Yeah, this
CPA
is
to
the
go, we
one
had to
that
go up
we
a 1/4 cent sales tax today.
Right, we had to do this because it changed.
Oh,
They changed some law.
Yeah, the state changed some law, so
Right.
Jason Akers said we had to, we had to
but
adopt this.
this is the one that
Yeah.
went up today?
Yeah.
Okay. So make sure. Thank you.
So that's,
Yeah, the vendor compensation. I was
Oh.
trying to think of the term. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So there's nothing we can do but do it because, you know,
No, I just thought it
the
was,
state changed it. Yeah.
State changed it, man.
That's cool.
Any comment? Yes, sir.
What,
Get ready, Bobette. He's gonna ask one, you're gonna have to answer.
what is the definition of tangible personal property?
Tangible personal property.
Tangible personal property.
It's calling for the lease or rental of tangible personal property.
That's anything.
I'll
Well, I mean,
defer
if you
to our
rent out
attorney.
equipment, equipment is tangible personal property.
Physical assets that individuals or businesses own.
What's that?
You heard that? Read it.
Oh, it says, physical assets that individuals or businesses own.
Yeah.
Furniture, vehicles, yada, yada, or businesses, business equipment, supplies, machinery, tools, computers.
So if a business is renting, they have to pay an additional tax?
I don't know all that.
This is 25% on anything, everything.
I don't know that.
I mean, it's the sales tax.
I mean, it's a
Sales tax, it's, everybody's gonna pay.
But it's
Everybody's
actually,
gonna
but it's
pay.
a sales tax, but it's a use tax, a sales and use tax, which changes not just a sale, it's things that you purchase for use in your business as well, if I understand that correctly.
Or rent to use, or rent,
That was,
or rent, for use.
if we
So our
could,
rental
if,
fees will go up.
That's correct, 25
Everything will go up.
0.25 when someone rents
Yeah.
something.
So in other words, this is inclusive of almost any and everything,
Except,
basically.
except labor.
Seems like.
Yes, that's labor.
Anything you buy.
what about
Yeah.
rental property,
What?
rent property
Yeah.
for use?
But I thought
That
it
would
said
come under the
services.
use part of
That's
it.
what it'd be used for.
Yeah.
So you're
That's not
using
what-
it
That's
now,
what it'd be used for.
and
That's
you
not what we
possibly are
charge.
renting it and not
We don't
purchasing
charge
it.
the
Right.
cents on
You're still
services.
using it, so you will.
Right.
Yes.
But they
Well,
can use it.
yeah, I mean,
Just want to-
if I go buy something at Lowe's, I pay a sales tax. If I go rent it on Center Street,
Yeah.
I pay a sales tax.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you buy a forklift, or if you rent a forklift,
still
you're
paying
paying
it.
the tax
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah,
Yes.
either way.
Okay.
Or a loaf of bread.
Can't win for losing.
Anybody else? I don't think this one's above us.
Yeah.
Please vote your machines. Thank you very much.
Loaf of bread is edible,
right.
personal property.
Councilman's remarks. I'm gonna start with Councilman Doyle.
Hey,
Hey.
thank you, Mayor.
Stay on the agenda.
No, look, I hope everybody has a safe weekend, 4th of July this weekend, and just appreciate United States of America. It's just a great place to be.
Amen.
Amen.
Like this council. We did so much, and I think that, Mayor, you just, I was here for so many years, and everything went to sewer. You remember that? We couldn't patch a hole in the street, couldn't do nothing. And now everything is drainage, streets. So we're moving from the bottom to the up. So I think we're making progress. But thank you for your effort and everything you do, because this is major, and the attention you gave to the people that had the problems. It's just a personal thing that I appreciate, especially my district, for what you did. So you have a safe weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't have much to say except for the fact that there's a lot of things going on within the city. A lot of them are much needed, long time coming. So just be patient, and we're working to do the best we can.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to say that I'm planning on having a meeting on the 17th for a neighborhood watch meeting. And I'm hoping I can use you, Miss Carol. We'll get together. And also, I want to pray that everybody have a safe 4th of July weekend also. And I want to thank you, Mayor, for doing what you're doing as far as what we've been looking at for the city for drainage and all those things. Like Dan said, I was on the council for a long time ago. We didn't have the money to do a lot of things that's going on right now, and that's going to be developing our city. So we moved a lot ahead, and I'm just hoping that we can all continue to work together, because this is going to be a brand new look for New Iberia with new pipes under the ground and all those things that was there before I even was born. So this is some good stuff. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So just a reminder to the general public, if you watch the meeting or you read the agenda, that in the near future, we're gonna be having some inconvenience in the city, and so we have one on Hopkins Street. We got street payments going on. We're gonna bust up Pollard Street. That's just to name a few, but remember that inconvenience brings progress to our city. So be patient and, help our crews out that are doing the work, because it's at the bottom line, it's all to support your family and what you do in our city to make our city better.
Yeah, I agree. It's an exciting time to be a part of the movement and the improvements. I can appreciate everything that the previous councils have done to set this up, and it's a good time, and looking forward to seeing some finished projects.
Okay, we're having a SOS summit called Save Our Streets for the youth from K to 12th grade. Western Council Neighborhood Association, also me, and also partner with the city with the youth summit is and also the back to school drive. It'll be at Anderson Street School on August the 2nd. Registration will be at 8:30, and we start at 9 to 4. And we're going to have a lot of facilitators. We're going to rotate the kids to classroom to classroom and have different speakers talk about different areas and drugs, police and medical and all that, and try to get our kids on the right track, So this is our second time doing that. So hopefully we can catch some kids,
Thank you for that. Thank you.
I want to congratulate the Evangeline Little League 11, 12-year-old boys. They made it to the state level for All-Stars, which is great. So hopefully they can go past that. That'll start July 17th. Also, for those who don't know, Freddie really means what he says whenever he's moving in high gear. He got some signatures for right-of-ways at 8 a.m., and by 8:05, he's breaking ground, clearing out ditches. Not really, but very, very fast. So that's good stuff, though. Like, that's what we need, is someone like that has the ability to communicate with people and get the job done. And so I really appreciate that he is able to do that for us. Thank you.
Thanks for your help. Because Brooke's not saying, Brooke, Hillary, and myself went door to door to get some signatures, and I'm sure we're gonna have to continue to do that. But you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So we have an opportunity here. I guess it's my turn, so I need to thank every one of you, because tonight we spent $12 million. We spent a little more than that. I did some, there's some other things we did, but basically, if you look at it, that's the truth. Tonight,
Conservatively.
we conservatively, yes, sir. No need to get
Because we got a
jacked up
cushion.
about it.
You invested.
Yeah, we invested.
That's right. That's a better word.
And really, it's all in infrastructure. So we invested a little over $12 million in infrastructure tonight. And that doesn't happen unless you got a team. And every one of you up here is the team. The councils before help. But what we have in place, I am so blessed to be on my third council. And every one of my councils have been cooperative, and we have gotten stuff done. I can't thank y'all enough. We are only as strong as, each district, and, each of you represent about 5,000 people. And, you just keep communicating to me what's a win. We know that, and we'll make it happen. We know that things are gonna come that we can't plan for. We never planned that we would have 40 houses flood, that many of them have never flooded before. I never dreamed the street project would take this long to get started. But as a team, I can't ask for better, and we couldn't do any of this if we didn't work well together. So thank you for that. And with that, I want everybody to have a safe and happy 4th of July, and I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Done. Thank y'all.